You're wrong, ShowBizz. You're wrong. All right. Let's talk. Let's talk. All right, you guys got me now. Let's talk. Good morning, by the way. I got my black two sugars. Look, let me tell you what I'm referring to. Yesterday, I made a comment on my ShowBizz The Morning podcast. I made it a separate video, actually. The comment was, would you give George Kambosos credit if he beats Devin the Dream Haney? Devin the Dream Haney being 23 years old. If you're going to give Kambosos credit for beating a 23-year-old Devin the Dream Haney, then you must give Floyd Mayweather credit for being a 23-year-old Canelo Alvarez. Right? A lot of people went crazy in the comments saying, that's too simplistic, ShowBizz. You're not thinking of all the variables. Let me tell you what you're not thinking about. My point. And you're making it. The point was, stop discrediting these fighters. If you fine-tooth comb everybody's resume, you can find a reason. Oh yes, a reason for every victory. And put an asterisk, just take it away, discrediting their victories. Bringing them down a peg to make you feel better for the fighter you're fanboying. Or feel even worse about the fighter you're hating. Let's talk about my statement, Canelo Alvarez being 23 years old. Let's talk about 23. How old was Muhammad Ali when he shook up the world, beating Sonny Liston? 22 years old. Yeah, I know. Canelo Alvarez is no Muhammad Ali. How old was Wilfred Benitez when he defended his title against Sugar Ray Leonard? 21 years old. Well, let's talk about Floyd Money Mayweather. You guys giving him so much credit. He's 36 years old, as if that's a prime age, and that's a good thing to be. Let me tell you something about 36 years. Damn old. That is the point of every fighter when they start going down. 36. If you know anything about boxing, 36. That's why when Floyd Mayweather took him, it was crazy. You took that young fighter, who's not losing, by the way. 50, how many fights he had? 40-something fights, something crazy. I understand they were all in Mexico, but I'm just saying, he fought a lot. And he was beating guys all his way up to Floyd. That's what made it a big fight. It was huge. Why? Because Canelo Alvarez was just wet behind the ears and no one knew him? He was already a big name. But let's talk about Floyd Mayweather being 36 years old. A few defensively sound fighters. How old was Muhammad Ali when he lost to Spinks? 36. How old was Roy Jones Jr. when Tarver told him on that fateful night, any excuses tonight, Roy? And made Roy lean back. Roy Jones Jr. was 35 years old. How old was Sugar Ray Leonard when he lost to a young and prime Terry Norris? He was 34 years old. How old is Deontay Wilder? 36 years old. You want to talk about 23. Let's talk about 36. Nobody want to talk about that, right? That's what I'm saying. You can try to bend the narrative to feel great about your fighter. And I'm not talking against Canelo fans. I'm not talking for Floyd fans. Hell, I'm not talking against Floyd fans. I'm talking for Canelo fans. I'm talking about those who want to discredit great things from great fighters to make you feel better. What are you going to talk about now? His weight? Floyd Mayweather made Canelo Alvarez fight at 152. Hell, Canelo Alvarez wanted to fight at 147. Canelo Alvarez had a rehydration clause against Danny Jacobs. Canelo Alvarez had a rehydration clause against Kovalev. Hell, he probably wished he would have had a rehydration clause against Bivol last week. That is a part of boxing, negotiation. Many people talk about the No Mas fight. They don't even consider the fact that Roberto Duran was 190 pounds. He had to go down to 147 for 190 pounds in 2 months. He didn't even spar. That No Mas was all about being weight trained. People give Manny Pacquiao credit for beating Cotto. How many times do you mention weight train? But you're going to mention weight train when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. I'm not protecting Floyd. I'm protecting boxing. The point is this. If you're going to understand 23, you got to understand 36. And no matter who you are fanboying, you should be able to identify greatness. It works best for you, so you can know what greatness looks like and how to pursue it. don't have so much energy towards bringing down a fighter. Let's talk about Canelo Alvarez losing to Bivol. This is all the same point. Trying to discredit Floyd Mayweather from beating Canelo is the same thing many of you doing by saying, told you so, Canelo's not great. Not that great. Bivol beat him. Let me tell you something about Canelo Alvarez. Every fighter realizing how great Canelo Alvarez is and what he did against Bivol, because many fighters aren't trying to do what Canelo Alvarez did. Fighting a prime fighter at 175 when he's barely 168. Bottom line, Canelo Alvarez lost against Bivol, walked out, left the ring, bruised up, hurt, tender, lost. But what did you do that day? He took a shot. He took a shot at being great. What did you do? I'd rather walk out black and blue taking a shot at being great. The point was, stop trying so hard to discredit these fighters. It's taking shit from you. You're working too hard to discredit these guys. Like it or not, when Floyd beat Canelo Alvarez, that was a great thing. And how he did it was even more spectacular, especially at 36. And Canelo Alvarez taking his shot, trying to beat Bivol, and then try to be undisputed at 175 eventually. Even now, talking about rematching him when it looks like he can't beat that man no way, no how, no day. That's great too. ShowBizz, little dope. Next time, before you guys jump in my comments, understand the point I'm making. I'm out.